What's up, Glue Dots? I'm Elaine, the Midnight Crafter. Today's DIY, I forgot what it is. What's up, Glue Dots? I'm Elaine, the Midnight Crafter. What's up, Glue Dots? I'm Elaine, the Midnight Crafter. Today's DIY is something that I'm putting together with items that I've been looking at for a really long time and thinking there's got to be something I can do with those. And that is the big magnifying glasses that you find in the office section at Dollar Tree. I knew that there had to be something I could do with them, and finally the idea came to me. So I'm kind of excited to try it out. Hope it comes out in my brain like it's coming out. Hope it comes out for real as it's coming out in my brain, and I'm excited to show it to you guys and tell me what you think about it. First of all, before we do that though, do me the favor of hitting the subscribe button, join the Glue Dot family, and stick around with me for a while. And if you want to see when I upload new videos, right next to it there's a bell. Just click on that bell. Also, if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It helps me to grow my channel, and if you share, that helps it to grow even faster. So that would be fabulous. Anyway, with all that being said, let's get into this crazy unique idea of mine, and let me show it to you. Here we go. So I've separated my 10 magnifying glasses into 2 stacks because I'm only going to be working with 5 of them to begin with. And we're going to be using the hot glue. I actually had put E6000 in the description box to use it, but the hot glue actually holds this really well because these are ninja skills. These are plastic, so they actually hold together really well. What we're going to be doing is putting 5 of these together around until they form a pentagon, I guess it would be, since there's 5 of them, and just attaching them with a little bit of glue right at the seam point where it comes together. So an easy way to do that would be to lay them down initially, because you want to make sure that these are parallel and that they're not, cockeyed in any way. So laying them down seems to be the easiest way, and you do have a tiny bit of working time to stand them up and sort of position them. So first what we're going to do is just put a little bit of our hot glue, not just so much in between because they're not going to be laying flat, but a tiny bit of it to get in between there. And then stand them up. And then we're going to let them cool off. So like I said, they will have a tad bit of flexibility, since the hot glue has some flexibility, being sort of a little rubber-like. So then we're going to do 2 more, because that's going to be the easiest way to attach them. I'm leaving them a tiny bit apart so the glue goes in there a tiny bit, and then pushing them together. And stand those babies up. We'll let those cool off a tiny bit. And the first set there that we glued, I'm going to attach this one to it. So this one we're just going to have to kind of wing it, because we can't really lay those down flat. So I'm going to go right about at this point. And then I'm going to stand that up and attach it here, and try and visually take a look and make sure that these top parts are parallel to each other. And lastly, we'll be attaching these other 2 to create our pentagon. Adjust it accordingly, kind of take a peek inside there so that it looks pretty even. And then place a bit of glue. You don't need a whole lot of glue. It holds up pretty well. Just enough that it will hold it comfortably, but they will be, I mean, not so much that it's gooping out everywhere, but we will be kind of covering some of the glue up with our little gemstones. So there is the first round. Easy as pie. And next what we're going to be doing is taking our other set of magnifying glasses, and we're going to be attaching those in between, just above, kind of resting on like a little bit of a shelf there. And they will overlap, so we'll be putting the glue on the stick parts and attaching them directly to this part. So what I'm doing is putting the glue on this very little bit on this edge, centered pretty much on the circle of the magnifying glass, the sides of the circle. And again, try and eyeball to make sure that the stick is sticking upward and not cockeyed in any way, and not leaning either way. So, okay, we're gonna go around and do that same thing all the way around. I'm gonna glue all 5 of the magnifying glasses here to the outside. So now some of these, the way they're placed, they may not lie as evenly on there, in which case you may want to put a little bit of your hot glue at the bottom part, on the part that it's actually resting. So this one for me, you can see it's just not lining up well because of the spacing. So I'm going to go with a little bit of hot glue on this bottom part so that at least it can stick right there and stand up for me. Now I'm adding a little extra hot glue here on the side just to attach it, though that it doesn't really completely reach, but at least it'll give it a little bit of extra support. And I'll be doing the same on that other side there. So wherever the contact points are is where you would want to put your hot glue. So that may differ on the various pieces. You're going to have to kind of watch and play that by ear a little bit. So go all the way around, get those all glued on. All the pieces are glued together now. It's pretty sturdy. Just know that when you're gluing them, don't be super worried if they're not exactly each one exactly the same, because they are going to vary, but it's not something you'll really be able to tell. So now that they're all glued together, we're going to turn this upside down almost like a little table, and we're going to go in using our gemstones, and we'll be filling in some of the spaces wherever you think. If you want to cover up glue, if you want to cover holes, kind of go by what you think. So with a little bit of just the hot glue put on just to the tip of the gemstone here, you should be able to place your gemstone where you want it, assuming that it is not floating in the air somewhere. If it's going to be more floating, you put it a little more towards the sides. So I'm going to go with stones right here on this point. I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 of them in those areas. So that's how I've glued them on for this part. I'm going to go around all the sides and fill in there, and then I'll move on to the next section. So I have all my gemstones glued around in these spots, and what I'm going to do next is go through and do the same thing right up in here. So if you want to stop with just 1, that's great. If you want to do 3, you want to do 2, whatever your preference. I'm going to start with 1 and go all the way around and see how I like it, and then if I decide I want to add more, we'll do that. I decided to go with 2 gemstones around the top, and I went all the way around. The last step we're going to be doing will be to glue our crystal gems to the bottom of each of the shorter legs. This actually is a bit too long as it is. We do need to remove 1 of the crystals, so the very top crystal, and only have the 1 crystal and the big dangle teardrop. You do want to keep the ring on there and just remove 1 crystal and 1 ring. So what you'll have left is the crystal on the top with the 2 rings. So what you can either do, 2 choices. You can put a dot of glue, your hot glue, on the bottom of the short leg and then press this piece onto it, hold it there until it dries, and it will dangle. Or if you do want to be able to remove that piece later, you can purchase these beads at Dollar Tree. They're square beads that have a small hole through the side of them. So I learned this, oh, I wish I could remember her name, from another YouTuber, and several of you already know who that is, and I'm sure somebody will be kind enough to leave me that comment in the comments below. Anyway, what you would do, of course you want this to blend in with this. I didn't really plan on using these ahead. For the sake of time, I'm gonna go ahead and Sharpie it black. When you glue this, you're going to be gluing it so that the circles, the holes, are to the sides. Okay, so do you see that? The holes are to the side. That way you can pass your crystal through. And we're gonna go ahead and do that. What I'm gonna do is color with Sharpie, then I'll be gluing this piece on there and showing you how that works. Now, another option, if you want to, right there on the surface area of that little tiny bead, you can put a little rhinestone. So if you don't want that to show, you can put a rhinestone on that, just another little detail. Black. While I have this upside down, I'm gonna go ahead and start attaching my crystals. So you're just gonna go ahead and pull apart the little ring like you would a keychain and put it right through the bead. So I have all my crystals dangling on there. You can't see them from this angle, but you will as soon as I show you the little video of it all stylized. My plan was for this center, I do have this shown in the description as well as the cylindrical vase, but I thought I had another one and I ended up using it for another project. So I'm going to show you a couple other options. Now, because I used my cylindrical vase for something else and wasn't thinking, I'm going to show you another couple of options. So these are also available at Dollar Tree in 2 different heights. This is, I believe, the shorter one of the 2. If you would like, you can take that and glue this on top and set this into the center. Also, if you want to, as a temporary situation, you could use a wine glass turned upside down and place this on top. As a temporary situation, you could just throw a little piece of double stick tape, or even how you twirl the tape and make a loop with it and stick this on there just so it doesn't slide around. If you have a bigger wine glass, you could put this inside of the wine glass. This is, or I guess it would be technically then a water goblet. But that's another option. So anything that will give some height and will put your candle inside of your decorative piece. So I'll be back to show you that all finished and decorated.